Welcome back to 360 Sports. Today we have an NBA show for you today. I'm Sophia. This is Jacob, Owen, and Ian. And just to start off, let's really kick it off here. The Cavaliers and the Thunder are the only undefeated teams left in the NBA, and they have no signs of slowing down. What do you guys think? Is Cleveland legit, like, to make it out of the Eastern Conference, or are the Thunder in the clear to be the best team? What do you think?
Well, I think, first of all, I think neither of these teams are the best team. I still think it's the Celtics, the team to beat. They are the defending champions. They're off to a 7-1 start. That's my opinion. As for Cleveland, I think the fact that they're the only other team besides the Celtics with a winning record in the Eastern Conference shows something to me. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Eastern Conference is going to separate from the mediocrity that they're in right now. But we'll have to see moving forward. As for the Thunder, I'm going to say no. They're not the clear-cut best team in the West because the West has 9 teams with winning records, and that's an interesting disparity right there. The West is so even, and the East is so top-heavy. But we'll have to see moving forward.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, the Thunder have the league's best defense with an allowed 95.9 points per game. So I think that's really helping them right now, and their point differential is around 17 and highest in the NBA. And I think that SGA, he's having a slow start right now, but the defense has really picked it up. I think they're leading the league in most steals per game, and that defense, that collective defense with Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Shea, Chet, they're really collectively being the best team in the league, and I don't think many teams are going to live up to that this year.
Ian, what are you thinking for these teams?
I mean, for the Cavs, like they've got their big four. They got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, all averaging over 15 points a game. Garland and Mitchell Mitchell's averaging 23 and Garland's averaging 20 apiece. But looking at the Cavs, like their roster compared to the Celtics, it's not that deep in the way, and just the brand of basketball the Celtics play. Like, as someone that does not like the Celtics, not to be biased, they're the team to beat in the East. Absolutely the team to beat in the East. Defending champions, they have a super team. I think once Porzingis is healthy, they will be unstoppable. But looking at the Cavs and seeing how they stack up with the Celtics, I just don't think the Cavs have that level of depth that Boston has. And Boston obviously has a lot more star power because, like, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, they're above average players, but not stars. Porzingis is, I would say, I mean, he's above average. I mean, some people can say he's a star, but Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday's, he's still, like, at his age, he's still one of the best point guards in the NBA. But looking at Boston's roster, and like even Derek White too, just looking at Boston's roster though, they're the team to beat in the East. And as far as the West goes, I think the Thunder, they're probably the most complete team in the West right now. But also, like, you've got the Suns, they got KD, Beal, D-Book. And then you also have the Nuggets, who are always a threat to make it out of the West as well, with Jokic, Porter, Jamal Murray. But I think right now the Thunder are definitely the team to beat in the West. And as for the East, I don't think the Cavs, they're a legit threat to make it out, but I think the Celtics are more of a threat.
Yeah, and I agree with what you were saying, especially about that depth, because that's the whole thing about making it out. And it does. I feel like even right now you've got that record, but that doesn't really numbers are only so much when it comes to actually what your players are doing. And in the long run, it's still early, obviously. But.
And I mean, you saw that last year in the playoffs. The Cavaliers were missing Donovan Mitchell, and the Celtics just steamrolled them. It just proves that the Celtics were like the better team, because if you're missing if you're missing one player and your team falls apart because of it, that means you're not a very good team. And I mean, and I think the only exception to that were the Cavs teams of the late 2010s that had LeBron and basically nobody else.
Yeah, I agree with you. But now we got the other side of it. And there are those teams that are underperforming that we weren't really expecting. I mean, the Bucks are 1-6. The 76ers are 1-5, while Embiid just got suspended for 3 games. And there are some preseason contenders that are looking pretty vulnerable. So which underperforming squad are you most shocked by?
I'm most shocked by the Bucks. They have Lillard and Giannis leading the team with 27 plus points per game, but they don't really have that depth like we've been saying. And I think that's definitely going to be a key part down the road. And I think I'm very surprised by what.
Yeah, and I mean, especially because Giannis has been playing so well. To see the Bucks stumble out of the gate, It's really shocking. I know the team didn't go far in the playoffs last year, but that's mainly due to Giannis's injury.
Yeah.
But it's like this is a team. They still have a very recent championship. They won 3 years ago. It's still a team that can definitely rebound, and it's very early in the season. And there are a lot of playoff spots. So I think the Bucks will rebound. I think you'll see them at the very least in the play-in by the time we get to April. But yeah,
Again,
I agree with the Bucks.
1-5 with that fresh record. It's like obviously disappointing, but at the same time, it's like how much can we really call right now?
Yeah.
I know you're a big 76ers fan. You said you were going to go on a rant about this.
I
So
will
let's
say,
hear.
I am going to go on a rant, but I will say this about the Milwaukee Bucks. I am not surprised at all by how they're starting. And it has nothing to do with Damon Giannis. It has something to do with their coach, Doc Rivers, who is the biggest choker on the sidelines of all time. The guy has blown like 8 playoff series leads. There's probably more. He's probably blown more than 8 leads. I'm just going off what I know on the top of my head. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but something like that. He's a terrible coach. They should have never fired Adrian Griffin last year. I get Giannis is he's the player GM of that team. He is.
Yeah.
And I get it was his call to fire Adrian Griffin after they started 30-13 that season. But I think with Doc Rivers as their coach, their record was 500 the rest of the way. And I know in the playoffs, losing Giannis didn't help, but Doc Rivers, he's a better coach when he doesn't have his star players because he actually has to do something. When he's got his stars on the court, he just says, all right, just give it to Giannis, give it to Dame, let them do whatever. I don't care what else anyone does on the offense. Stand there, just let them do what they do. And that's how he did. That's how he was with the Sixers. It was just feed and beat. Everyone else just stand there and do whatever you do. And that really Doc Rivers, the way he coaches, is just their offense they play is so stagnant under Doc Rivers. It makes sense why they've started 1-5. I can say I'm a little surprised just with the level of talent the Bucks have. You have Dame and Giannis. Dame is the second best point guard of this generation behind Steph Curry. Giannis is the most athletic big man I think we've ever seen in this game besides LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
But it is just, it's shocking, but it's not shocking because Doc Rivers is their coach. And I don't think Doc Rivers lasts it a lot longer. As for the Sixers,
Yeah.
I'm surprised because I really thought this is going to be different this year. They really did it. They really went for role players in the offseason. Just along with signing Paul George, they got Gershon Yabusele, who dunked on LeBron James. He's actually been pretty good for them. He's averaging 9 points per. And obviously Maxi's been averaging 30 points per game. His shooting really isn't great. Only shooting 27% from 3. But just looking at the offense, they're trying to run everything through Maxi, and getting PG back for the Suns really helped them keep it close. They should have won that game because they were up 9 with 2 minutes left to go. But KD'd. No surprise there. But I just it's just really bad because the role players that I thought would provide for this team, like Caleb Martin, like Eric Gordon, they haven't showed up. Jared McCain hasn't gotten as much minutes as I liked. And Reggie Jackson hasn't gotten as much minutes as I like. They're not playing Adam Bono, who I really liked as a second-round pick. It's just, and they can't get stops when it matters. It is driving me crazy, and Joel Embiid needs to be on the court.
Yes.
That's it.
You got a lot going on there, but I see your passion behind this whole 76ers madness. But now we're going to be talking about, we talked about the teams. Now let's go to the players, who we're going to buy in and sell for these stocks, because a team's only as good as its players. So this is a board segment. We're going to have Jacob go first and let us know what's your stocks.
So I'm going to start with the guy that is leading the NBA in points per game. It's the Brow. It's Anthony Davis. And, the Lakers got a lot going on. This might be LeBron's last year. This might be the whole Bronny James segment, which I think is ridiculous because if his name is Mike Johnson, nobody's talking about him. But I think Anthony Davis has really stepped up for the Lakers. And as I have a love-hate relationship with the Lakers. I'm a Celtics fan, so it's there. I kind of try to respect the rivalry in that aspect, but I think the Lakers, they're definitely they definitely got a good thing going, and especially with Davis, he's a veteran. He's spent many years with the Pelicans, so I think I like how he's shaping up. I think he'll continue to do this. I don't know if he's going to lead the league in points per game, but yeah. As for who I'm selling, it's got to be Joel Embiid. I know you're talking about him. It's not really looking good. On and off the court, it's been rough. I know you had the whole situation with the 3-game suspension. We can talk about how if that's if that was the right choice by the NBA or not. But on the court, he's just not showing up. He's taking load. He's load managing. Like, and that's a new trend that the NBA stars like to do, is load manage. And I'm not sure if playing the Olympics was such a good idea for Embiid, but yeah, it's been disappointing. And obviously, he's yet to lead his, like, he's the number one guy in Philadelphia, and he's got to lead his team, and he hasn't been doing that, especially in the playoffs. He's been disappearing or hurt. So, and he's got to lead his team to the conference finals, and he hasn't been able to do that.
That's a really good pick there. I know that Joel Embiid pick is going to make a couple of people angry, but now, Owen, let's see your stocks.
Yeah, this guy might not be on a good team, but Bilal Coulibaly has had a great start to this season. And as a prospect going into the 2023 NBA draft, he was a raw prospect, and the Wizards have done a lot with his development, and it's very promising. And he's going to be a great building block for years to come with Alex Sarr and the pieces that they have in Washington.
All right.
Now for my sell, I got Jalen Green from the Houston Rockets. He's averaging 23 points per game, but he's doing it inefficiently, and it's like every year for him. He's hot for a month, and then he goes right back down to a very, very inefficient mark for another 2 months. So I'm lacking confidence in what I've seen from Jalen Green over the last couple of years. And I think the Rockets did give him an extension, but I don't think he's that building block that they thought he would be when they drafted him.
All right. And Ian, what's about your stocks?
All right, so who I'm buying? I'm buying my guy Tyrese Maxey here. He's averaging 30 points per game this season. He scored over 30 points in, I believe, 4 of the first 6 games for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's starting to shoot the ball a lot better. He's shooting over 40% from 3 over his last 2 games. Started off to struggle a little bit, but I really like how he's the focal point of the Sixers offense. And I mean, I'm not going to go into my opinions on how the team should be building it, but I love Tyrese Maxey as the focal point of the Sixers offense when Embiid's not on the floor. He's an absolutely electric player, makes things happen when the Sixers need it most. Missed the buzzer beater, but that's fine. He played a great game the other night. He's been the focal point of their whole team this season, and I just love Tyrese Maxey this season. He's going to be an all-star, potential first-team All-NBA too with how he's been playing. MVP candidate, possibly. He also won Most Improved Player last year. I love this guy. He's my pick to buy stock on this season. As for who I'm selling Jabari Smith Jr. I know this might be a little bit of a hot take for people, but he was the 3rd overall pick 2 years ago. He has been nothing short of mediocre since coming to the league for someone that should be the 3rd overall pick and for someone that was as good in college as he was. Jabari Smith's only averaging 12 points in his career. His field goal percentage has been highly inconsistent. He's only shooting, I think, 42% from the field for his career, which is not great for someone that was drafted at his stock. His 3-point shooting has not been good either. Jabari Smith Jr., he needs to be better. And also the Rockets just have a lot better options on their team than him. They got Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün. They just have so much better options than Jabari Smith. And he is just, I wouldn't say he's disappointed, but he's just been highly underwhelming so far in his NBA career. He's been very inconsistent. One night he'll score 15 points, 20 points, and the next night he'll go 7-7, and it's 15 again. He's just too inconsistent. And he's been nothing short of underwhelming as a draft pick, being the 3rd overall pick 2 years ago.
Yep. That's a good take on your stocks. You definitely know your stuff. Next up, we have my stocks. So if you're going to give me a little cash, I'm buying in on Jason Tatum. I mean, background, he made the 1st overall NBA championship last year. And a little bit more over the summer, he wasn't playing most of the games because Warriors coach Steve Kerr felt that there was no place for him on this team. Ironic that being that they're playing the Warriors tonight. But that only fueled him to go on and score 37 points on 8 of 11 shots. And now has averaging 30 points a game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists on the Celtics, which with a team to that pedigree, that's even more impressive than doing it on just the average team, being that he could arguably be the best or one of the best players on one of the best teams, if not the best team in the East Conference. But for who I'm selling, I'm going Tyrese Haliburton. He's just down. He's averaging 16 points a game with his 4 points less than last year. And his accuracy and completion is 38%, which is 10% down from 48% last year. So he's not doing what everyone was expecting him to do based off last year. And it sucks to see when a player goes down and, so many things factor into that. but hopefully he can pick it up again. So that's what I got. But now we're going on to, we're making our draft. So you guys are all, now we are doing starting shooters edition. So we're going to be making the best shooting lineup for the NBA history. You all are going to draft. And then at the end, I get the liberty of picking which one of you did the best. So we're going to start with you, Owen. Who are you drafting first?
For my point guard, I got to go with the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yeah,
All right. That's off
pretty
the
easy.
board. Everyone
Yeah.
keep in mind, you cannot draft Steph Curry.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, my next pick, if I can't have Steph Curry, give me his coach. Give me Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. All right.
All right, for me, my guys are very obscure. I'm going to go with Hubert Davis, the all-time NBA three-point field goal percentage leader, as my point guard.
All right. We're going back to you now. I also remember keeping positions.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
are we doing
Yeah.
for next?
I got the sniper Kyle Korver for my pick
All
for
right.
shooting guard.
You know what? We'll keep it with the 90s Bulls. Give me Michael Jordan.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, at shooting guard, I got the current active all-time three-point percentage leader. Give me Seth Curry.
All right. Seth Curry's off the board. All right. Now we're going to the next position. What do you got, Owen?
For small forward, I think I got to go with Kevin Durant. He's that dynamic, versatile shooter that I need.
All right. What about you, Owen?
You know what? Give me my center, Nikola Jokic.
All right.
All right, since Kyle Korver is off the board, at small forward, I'm going to have to take Paul George.
Okay. Now we're swinging it back around.
I got Dirk for my power forward. He's the greatest power forward of all time. Shooting power forward of all time. Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time. But yeah, I think that's a great pick for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Keep it in power forward. Give me Larry Bird, Larry Legend. I've heard a story about him that's like he tried to miss and he couldn't miss. So I forget what they were doing. I think they were shooting like a commercial or something.
Well, you can't miss him if you can't miss.
Yeah.
So what about you?
My power forward is Kevin Love. Real ones know how good of a shooter this guy was back in the day.
All right. And we're on our last one.
And then I got Wemby. I think he's an alien. He's just that shooter.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna go with a pretty obscure one. Give me Adrian Dantley for my small forward. He's got a 54% shooting percentage, most by a small forward.
For my center, give me Channing Frye. It's a little obscure, 38.8% from the field, but I'll take Channing Frye as my center.
All right. So now you
Yeah.
guys went around, and don't hate me for this, but just
Uh-huh.
give me your team back in a list. I don't need the explanation. I want to go over who I think got
Well,
best.
I got Steph Curry, Kyle Korver, Kevin Durant, Dirk, and Wemby.
All right. You?
I got Adrian Dantley, Larry Bird, Steve Kerr, Michael Jordan, and Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
I've got Hubert Davis, Seth Curry, Paul George, Kevin Love, and Channing Frye.
Right. After long consideration from yours truly, I'm going to have to go with that. I think Jacob got the best draft
All
on this
right.
one.
Okay.
Just with the name, I mean, Michael Jordan out there. I'm
Yeah.
on the side that Michael Jordan, LeBron, I'm going Michael Jordan on that
I agree.
argument.
I agree.
And
It's a good take.
also, I think that Steve Kerr, he is that shooter. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. But you all did a very, very good job. Next, we're on to the rookie woes. You know, there's some rookies this year that aren't doing what we thought they would based on where they were being drafted. So if they're struggling in their start year, just what's going wrong? Like, what do you think's going on in that? What do you think?
You know, there are a lot of you see this across all sports. There are a lot of good draft classes. There are a lot of bad draft classes. This year's obviously kind of leaning towards a bad draft class, but let's keep in mind it has only been a few weeks. It's only been like 6 or 7 games. Like we don't know yet. I think it's too early to press a panic button on a lot of these guys, especially the guys picked in the top 5 and the top 10. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think? Owen?
there were 3 top 10 international draft prospects this year, and those type of prospects are usually the ones that you need to develop. Guys like Zachary Reese-Sachet, Alex Sarr, Tijon Salon, they're definitely going to need a lot of development from their teams.
Yeah.
And I think right now they're struggling, but I think they could definitely pick it up for sure.
Yeah, and like you were saying about Zachary Reese-Sachet, he's having that hard time adjusting to the athleticism of the NBA. He said it himself in an interview. So when you got that is something hard to come into, especially the intimidation that America sets on the NBA and the greats that have come out of it. But what are you thinking about these rookies?
Yeah, I mean, this draft class, honestly, historically bad from
Yeah.
these guys coming out of college, coming overseas. Historically bad draft class compared to what we've had in previous years. But listen, Risa Shea, I don't think he should have been the number one pick. I really don't know who should have been the number one pick because
Yeah, it's tough.
the draft class is just so bad. Alex Sarr, I watched him at an OTE showcase 2-3 years ago, back when he was playing for OTE before he went to the Australian League, and I did not see anything special in him. So I did not see anything special in Alex Sarr. It does not surprise me that he's struggling. But my guy that's really been struggling is Jared McCain. The Sixers drafted him. I really wanted the Sixers to draft him because he would be a great backup point guard. He's a great shooter. That was his calling card in college. Solid defender, can guard 1 and 2, 1 through 3 maybe, but he has not gotten enough minutes. I would like him to get more minutes because when he's been getting minutes, he's been actually pretty effective. But the problem is that those games where he's gotten a lot of minutes and they were blowout games, except for the game against the Pacers. But yeah, I really would like to see Jared McCain get a lot of minutes because he's a guy that I think has a lot of upside and can really make an impact for the Sixers if he plays more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was following him a lot during the draft, especially during college basketball last year, March Madness, that whole thing. But I can honestly see how last year's like March Madness era and Spectrum kind of where it came out, where it was a little disappointing with these drafts, and especially the overseas guys. You just have those years, obviously, but I would think that, especially the NBA, though, needs them. You got the same, I don't know, I feel like you need some fresh blood. You got the same old guys coming in here, like, sweeping up the scores, and I'd like to see some rookies do something.
And I think even the NBA-ready prospects that we thought were NBA-ready in this draft haven't really gotten the playing time. Guys like Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham, who were great shooters in college, they just haven't gotten the playing time with the Timberwolves and with the Rockets. And I just think that the NBA knew that this draft class was weak and that they needed to develop their guys.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're Risa Shea, you have to follow up a generational number one pick in Victor Wembanyama. So I think he's already feeling that kind of pressure. So I think it's even harder for him in particular.
Yeah, the comparisons at that point are deadly because it's just like you have to think about it too. You come in like overseas or you come in even from college, and the NBA is such. I feel like out of all the sports leagues, that's one of the hardest ones to adjust into. I feel like this isn't a football show, but I'm saying if you come out of college football and go into the NFL, I just feel like the playing field can be the same if you come off a college team, that pedigree. But some of the March Madness teams that these players come out of are not even compared to the Celtics, the the Cavs and teams like that. So that's why it's like, you want to say cut them a break, but then you also want to say, when can we find players like Wemby that are just going to show up and show out?
Here's my opinion on why the NBA has had such a hard time developing talent over the last couple of years. And it's the same thing with the NFL. And we're not here to talk about football, but just why like teams can't develop quarterbacks. It's because these players aren't being put in situations to succeed. They're not being given the chance to succeed. You look at all these guys that aren't playing, guys who were drafted last year. Teams are so quick to send players down to the G League now. Teams are so quick to be sitting guys now. Like Jared McCain, like they were talking, like Nick Nurse, the Sixers coach, is talking about starting him in the G League, which I thought was utterly ridiculous. He's NBA ready. He's a guy that's NBA ready that should be playing 15 minutes, 20 minutes a night off the bench. But I really don't understand, like, why are we so quick to pull the plug on these guys?
Yeah.
Last year, Scoot Henderson really struggled to start off his career. They pulled the plug on him. They sent him to the G League, but they brought him back up because they realized that's going to hurt the kid's confidence. Stop sending top talent down to the G League. Stop sitting top talent on the bench. Play them. Let them develop. Let them learn. It's ridiculous. That's why this league is not developing any new talent. That's why we keep seeing the same stars being advertised over and over again. Those same guys are not going to be in the league in 5 years because they're old.
Yeah, that's true too. And it's also that takes away from being in the top 5 at this draft, because being in the top 5 means you're ready to play. You can throw on some shoes and you're going to get on that court and score some points and win some games. But even for the ones that don't, give them the shot. So I agree completely with what you were saying. How are you going to grow against, because if you come in as 20 years old and you're going to play against 40-something-year-old LeBron James, I mean, what else are you going to learn? Yeah, might fall over, you have to get back up. So I think that's a good part of it. But now tonight we have some games going on. We got the Warriors. What are your thoughts on Zach Edey?
Nope.
No.
Well,
Nope.
he is the
His
best
talent.
right
His
now.
talent. Well, he's 7'4".
Yeah.
His talent is his height. It's the same thing at Purdue. Like, I'm telling you, if that guy was my size, he'd be working at Walmart right now. So that's all I'm going to say about Zach Edey.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a huge fan of him even in college, but I'm not really impressed what he's doing in the NBA anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he is an NBA ready prospect. His talent in college, he dominated college. He won back-to-back Wooden Awards, and I think
But he's also the tallest guy in the nation. He's playing.
Right.
He's playing against guys that like
Yes.
centers in college. Most centers in college are 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
Zach Edey's 7'4".
I think he is doing well in his time that he's given at Memphis right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, he's doing what he has to do, I guess. But I feel like to get the whole label and everything is a little much.
I'm curious if it's not Edey for you, who's your rookie of the year?
I mean, listen, pretty much every single rookie in this league right now is struggling or not getting minutes.
Yeah.
So it's
That's-
hard to tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell right now. I think if Jared McCain actually gets minutes and is given opportunities, I really think it could be him. Right now, Zach Edey's been the most consistent, has been the most consistent with minutes, most consistent with production. So yes, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say Zach Edey right now is the favorite.
Watch LeBron just call in a favor, be like, "Hey, give it to my son."
Oh my God.
Nope,
Yeah.
he shouldn't be in the league.
That'd be ridiculous. I know he shouldn't. He really, I think on that point,
He
kind of
would have been better off staying in college.
Screwed his son
Yeah.
screwed his son over for his own personal benefit to have the publicity of playing with your son. He's not ready. He's like our age.
Yeah.
And he didn't even do anything. And I don't even think though him not doing anything in college is entirely his fault. He didn't have enough time. He genuinely and
he also had cardiac arrest too.
Yes, he had a complete heart condition and wasn't even going to be able to get in. So everyone's like, well, he's averaging 4 points a game. Yeah, he played 2. He played 1 game.
Yep.
So why are you putting him in the league? That's going to come back, I think, to bite them.
I am
But he's
6
the
months.
second
I am
round pick,
6 months
so.
older than him.
Really?
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, and then, what I was getting to before we got the question was the Wednesday night preview. So tonight, like I teased it a little bit earlier, we got the Warriors versus the Celtics and the Thunder versus the Nuggets. Let's just go around and give a quick score prediction or what you think is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jason Tatum. I agree with what you said earlier. I think Jason Tatum comes out and just torches the Warriors.
He
Like,
should.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got a bone to pick. I think this is going to be a very great game. These teams only have 2 losses between them. I think the Celtics. I'm going to say that the Celtics take it in a slugfest. I'm going to go 138 to 124.
I have 133, 110. So that's about, what do you think?
I got the Warriors in this one. I'm a Warriors fan myself. They're riding high this season, and I think they're gonna continue it this game. Buddy Hield's leading the way right now, but Steph Curry hasn't.
Love Buddy Hield.
Yeah, but I think this is gonna be a Steph Curry game,
All right.
and I think he's gonna go back to his dominant ways, scoring ways for them. And I got the Warriors 115 to 110.
A quick score, what do you got?
Yeah, listen, I think it's really hard to give score predictions in the NBA because everything is just like it's so high scoring, like you don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. That's
Yep.
true.
So I don't want to necessarily give a score just because it's too hard for me to think of what the score would be, but I am going to take the Celtics. Listen, I like the team the Warriors have. I like Brandon Pajemski. I like Steph Curry. I like Draymond, obviously, even though he's got his problems with being dirty. But
Yeah.
I like the team the Warriors got. They're a very good team. They have been for the last decade, but the Celtics are just way too good.
Right.
And I have to take Boston this
All right,
one.
Celtics. I'm taking the Thunder versus the Nuggets. What about you? Thunder, Nuggets?
I'll take the Thunder. I'll stick
about
with
you?
the Thunder.
I got the Thunder. They have, like I said, they have the top-ranked defense, and Jamal Murray's been struggling this year, and Nikola Jokic can only do too much.
Denver has won 4 of their last 5, so they're heating up from that 0-2 start.
What do you
Listen,
think about the Thunder, Nuggets?
I will say this. The Thunder are the best team, in my opinion. They're probably the best team in the league right now.
The Thunder?
Yes, with how they're
Okay.
playing, they're the best team in the league. Not on paper, by how they're playing and
All
how
right.
they play basketball. But I can see the Nuggets handing them their first loss this season. Listen, Jamal Murray has been great. He's a very inconsistent player. You never know which Jamal Murray you're going to get. You can either get Jamal Murray, who's going to go drop 30 points and have a triple double or a double double in assists, or you're going to get Jamal Murray, who's going to put up an absolute dud and put up a tornado, shooting like 3 for 30.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Nuggets to hand them their first loss. I think
All
Jamal
right.
Murray's going to show out tonight. Nikola Jokic, yes, the Thunder have the best defense, but I've never seen a player move the ball like Nikola Jokic has. And the Nuggets have incredible role players on the team that will hurt you, like KCP, like Aaron Gordon's hurt, but they got MPJ too. But I really like the team the Nuggets have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I think the
we'll
Nuggets.
know soon. We will definitely know soon if
Mhm.
our predictions are right. But
Yeah.
that is all we have for you tonight for the NBA show. Everyone watch tonight, and then tomorrow we got a show for you. So Good night,
Hockey tomorrow.
Hockey tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me. So thank you everyone for tuning in. See you tomorrow night.